Hello, Flickering Myth family, and all you slasher fans out there. My name is EJ Marino, and welcome to our channel. In this video, I have a brand new movie review. We are going to be discussing the film In a Violent Nature. After 40 or so years, how do you possibly reinvent the slasher genre? It's been quite some time since there's been a movie that feels like it's done a refresh, that it's given slashers a different point of view, a different feeling. I love, the Scream reboot that we have. I love our little Happy Death Days that we get. Every now and then there is a slasher film that comes out and it does have an impact, but have they reinvented the wheel? Have they made a slasher film that feels wholly unique to its peers? Well, I think In a Violent Nature is truly one of the most unique slasher films we've had in quite some time. Does it make it the best slasher movie I've ever seen? No, the movie definitely has some issues. I don't think enough to make it a bad film, but it definitely has its things where it's not going to be for everyone. That's what I would say. This movie is very much a personal preference kind of thing. As much as it is, it's a slasher. There's a masked killer doing some gnarly kills. We will talk about those kills. Yeah, it's a slasher in its very bare bones, but the film is so experimental. And I'm not talking trippy, weird, Gaspar Noé, like we're just doing some weird stuff. It is experimental in the way it is stripped down, bare bones basic. And that sometimes can be an insult, but what they do with In a Violent Nature is give you a slasher film from the point of view of the killer, but this isn't a Freddy killer, this isn't a Ghostface, this is a Jason, a Leatherface, a silent stalker, so it could be a bit slow and prodding at times. This movie definitely, though, it's a well worth it watch. I have not seen a slasher film like this, and again, I have been a slasher film. You see Chucky, you see the slashers, you see a bunch of stuff back there. I love this genre. I'm a big Friday the 13th fan, which this definitely feels like it's in the family of a Friday the 13th. I love what slashers have offered up for years. So In a Violent Nature was definitely one for me, but I will say it is not perfect. It is not amazing. It is definitely a personal cup of tea, and I think the cup of tea worked for me, but I can see some people being very against this movie. How do you describe In a Violent Nature? What is the plot of this movie? Well, we have a masked killer named Johnny, I believe his name is, who walks around and just kills people. It's the plot of the movie. I wish I could give you more details, but this movie doesn't have a lot of details in it that concerns the backstory of our killer, that concerns any protagonist, any final girl, any of these characters. None of that information is really given to you. What you do see, though, is a killer doing its thing, killing. And, walking in between kills. Boy, there was a lot of walking in this movie. If I could have just maybe cut some of the walking scenes down by like a minute or two, it would have just flowed a little easier, a little quicker, and I would have been like, oh, I'm not literally just watching a large silent man walk to one kill to another. We're actually doing something. Those little small moments I would have edited out. But that's just truly the essence of In a Violent Nature, is we're watching a killer, very much a Jason, very much, what's his name, Victor Crowley from the Hatchet movies, kind of in that vein, a big hulking, scary man who's stuck at, the middle of the woods, and we're watching what happens when someone touches the locket that's attached to him, and he awakens and says, well, I have things to do, I have people to kill, and the kills in this movie are worth the watch alone. There is one kill. I cannot spoil it. I will not give you even a bit of a detail other than I stood up while watching it and went, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. There's a couple other kills here too. There's a squishing of a head. That blew my mind. There's no pun intended. There's a lot of stuff in here that is great, but the one signature kill that's going to be like the kill of the year for this movie, it blew me away. So that's why I feel like the director of this film really had a good sense of a horror film, but it feels like he doesn't want to go full horror. This feels way more Gus Van Sant, way more Terrence Malick, a little Lars von Trier, those very experimental, those very, Dogma 9 to 5 kind of directors that are just like, here is the bare bones stripped nature of cinema, and that's where I'm going to give it to you. That's where I'm saying a lot of people are going to run into an issue, because they're going to expect a score. They're going to expect, plot. And that's not really here. It's a vibes kind of movie. Again, I like vibes. I can chill, watch this happen, but I definitely want to give people a warning. If you are expecting a traditional slasher, if you want a Friday 13th ripoff, go find that somewhere else. This is not that. And I appreciate this film for being so different, so unique, and feeling like it's trying to give slashers a bit of new life. What does it take to make a good slasher film? Is it the kills? Is it the killer? Is it the young group of kids that we're watching get killed? What is it about a slasher film that really makes it worthwhile and makes it something that I have loved for years? That's what I think In a Violent Nature is really presenting to you. It gives you a slasher, it gives you great kills, but it strips away all those extra little flares that could maybe attract you in. Like, I love Friday the 13th, I love my I love the Scream movies, but I love the Ghostface calls. I love the building of the whodunit mystery. There's none of that here. There is no whodunit mystery. There is no score to suck you in. It's just truly watching a nihilistic experience. We're watching this man just brutalize people, and the kills get brutal and it gets hard hitting, and I definitely appreciate the movie for not holding back, but it also is a very strange experience because you are having to test yourself of, do I like watching just people get brutalized, or do you like the extra flares? At the end of this movie, I did realize I do like this movie, but I like my slashers with all those extra accoutrements, like those extra flair that they give them. I need a score. I need, a good protagonist, a good antagonist. I need a mystery at least something to kind of wrap my head around as you're going through it. Even, the original Friday 13th, you're like, well, who's the killer? It's a masked POV kind of thing. And then Ghostface, those Scream movies are always trying to figure out who is the new slasher of the film. I like that stuff, and I do think In a Violent Nature does really test your limits, and I was tested here. I like the movie. I love the kills. I appreciate the sound design. This is an ASMR horror film if I've ever seen one. You are truly absorbed in the noises, the atmosphere. I love all that stuff. I really appreciate it. But if I'm going to watch a slasher movie, I don't think I would watch this one again, and I truly don't think I would want more of like this, because I do think we had a skilled filmmaker tackle this very hard task, and I don't know how he feels about creating it. It seems like maybe some of the early reactions have been a bit polarizing to some people. Again, I think critics are going to like this, audiences may not like it, but I will say I love that we had a skilled filmmaker try this out. I don't want to see someone else try to make this movie. It may not work as it is, and honestly, I like my slashers with more flair, more over-the-top nature, something to really sink my teeth into. In a Violent Nature, I sink my teeth into it, but I'm not really taking a big bite. Well, we have a new slasher film heading to theaters for a little bit. I cannot wait for this to get its little theatrical run, and I hope it does do well. Support Canadian horror films, support slasher movies, support indie films, love all that. Support this movie, but it is coming to Shudder, and I do think this makes a very good at-home watch. It's very much, good sound, good quality, watching it at home with your friends. I think it could be a really, really fun experience. So see it at home, see it in the theaters, but I definitely recommend you see In a Violent Nature. All right, guys, that is it for my review. What do you think of this review? What do you think of this movie? If you've had the chance to see it, share your favorite moments, your favorite kills, all that in the comments down below. If you haven't yet, are you hyped? What is your excitement? Have you even heard about this movie? I want to know all your thoughts. I want you to subscribe to Flickering Myth. I want you to give us a thumbs up if you did like it. And let's talk about In a Violent Nature and slasher movies right down below.